Hi, I'm Nancy. Welcome to Mindful Yoga. Today we're going to be practicing with the water chakra. So we're playing with the subtle energy that runs up the front of our spine in these spinning orbs of energy centers. Each one of these chakras has a mudra that goes with it. We'll be coming back to this, but this is the one for the water chakra. They have seed sounds, in this case, vam, vam, vam. And this with meditation on breath and that concentrating on those centers is the way in which to open these. And of course, we open them also with movement, particularly here dealing with movement in relationship to our inner ocean and the water in our world. This is an example of an illustration of the water chakra. So ancient yogis have envisioned this 6-petaled orange lotus and a moon. And the moon has to do, of course, with the changing tides and the effect of everything on everything else, but those changing tides and the impermanence of emotions within us in the case of the water chakra. So let's take a seat. Let your spine be relaxed but alert. Muscles relaxing down towards hips and feet, lifting up through crown, a little tuck in the chin for a length in the back of the neck. Inviting the breath consciously into nostril and throat. Filling the lungs with breath. Relaxing into the breath as the diaphragm expands and contracts down towards the belly. Continue this long, deep breathing. The water chakra is located below the navel. You can actually feel your diaphragm massaging that area, our inner ocean. Now bringing the breath as you inhale into the base of the spine, envisioning the breath coming into the base of the spine and exhaling down into the earth. Inhaling base of spine, this earth chakra, the root, the foundation. And exhaling into earth. Then bring the inhale up so it's behind the navel. Behind that area of the water chakra and exhaling deeper into earth. We'll bring the inhale up behind the solar plexus, the stomach area, the fire chakra, exhaling down into earth. Breathing up the front of the spine, this central channel of subtle energy as it comes up behind the heart. Exhaling deeper and deeper into earth. Opening the central channel up the front of the spine to behind the larynx, the throat chakra. Exhaling into earth. And inhaling all the way up the spine to just below the bottom of the skull. The chakra system comes all the way up the spine and attaches to the crown chakra, the top of our heads. A few more breaths here, opening that central channel of subtle energy. No physical manifestation necessarily. Maybe a hum, a vibration, a feeling of being alive. Then envision the breath coming into the water chakra. If you take your fingers and put them, the forefinger on the navel, the bottom of the ring finger will be the place of the water chakra, this spinning orange disc of energy. The mudra here, we bring the fingers in internally interlaced, bring up the steeple fingers, the forefingers, and then the thumbs come together for a diamond. And this is known as the transformation mudra. And bringing that back to the place just below the navel. Feeling the rise and fall of the breath. Silently or aloud, bringing in the bija or seed sound, the vibration of this energy center. Vam, V as in victory. Vam, vam, vam. Vam, vam, vam. Vam, vam, vam. 3 or 4 more breaths here with the seed sound or not. And letting that breath go, coming back to your regular breath, checking in with the body a moment. If you have anything high underneath you, remove that and come onto a blanket with crisscrossed legs. Running the hand across the mat, opening up on the side and coming over, opening laterally in the body. As the Tao Te Ching describes, nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water. Yet for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it. Gradually coming up through center. Bring one hand across to the opposite thigh and the other one back behind, turning just gently to the side, beginning to spiral the spine, lengthening from sits bones up through crown. And then spreading the arms as you come around to the other side, gently and with ease, going from side to side. In nature, water can be gentle and fluid, yet so powerful it carves the Grand Canyon. It can take the most jagged rocks and eventually transform them into polished, round stones. I always imagine myself as that jagged rock coming back to center, slowly being polished through my whole life. Let's feel our fishiness, letting our ribs go from side to side, shoulders gently moving. We are 60 to 70% water. And we can feel that water within us. It gives us flexibility through our joints, our synovial fluid, the inner ocean just below our navel, full of emotions and sensations. And then coming through center, opening the front of the spine and then opening the back of the spine. Just an easy cat-cow as we enjoy the fishiness of our spine, opening to the back and opening to the front. When we move like water, we can adopt a soothing flow. And then coming back through center, open the arms, open up, feel the opening through shoulders and chest, and then bringing the sides of arms together and the sides of fingers, chin to chest, opening and closing. Over time, the water begins to wear down the most persistent tension, our fatigue, our discomfort that we hold in our bodies. So this slow, watery, smooth movement that we do today is one to return to wear down the tension and discomfort. And then bring the hands down onto the thighs. We're going to come forward with the body slightly over to the side and back and over to the other side, rotating around the center. Feeling a stirring perhaps in the area under the navel. And then round the opposite direction. We can soften rather than tense or push against areas of the body that are tight. And one more time round. Coming back through center, arms go out to the side. Imagine that you are feeling your palms of hands on the surface of the water as you turn slowly from side to side. Most of the twist being in the mid-spine, the thoracic spine. Imagining that you are sitting in water with your head above the water and your arms just skimming the surface, this wonderful liquid that has made life possible as we know it on Earth. Then coming back through center, let's extend our legs out, imagining that we're a boat on the water. We're in a rowboat, so we're pushing the oars out and pulling them back. It's coming back as far as is comfortable for your abdominal strength. Forward and back. Our movements can take on the adaptable, shifting motion of rivers and streams. Adaptability in this world of change. Coming back through center, we're going to be in a kayak. So holding one paddle and bringing it down on one side and over on the other. Imagining your favorite stream or part of the ocean or lake. Our affirmation here is, I flow with the rhythms of life. Again, you can say it aloud or silently. I flow with the rhythms of life. I flow with the rhythms of life. And gradually coming back through center, open legs, Upavista is the name of this. And we're bringing one arm diagonally over so the little finger goes towards little toe. Coming back up, little strength through the abdomen to support you as you come back up. Just enjoying that stretch, but no strain necessary here. One more time in each direction. And come back through center. Bring the feet in. We'll come into a lying position. Rolling the hips a bit, settling the shoulders, the back of the skull, feeling that connection rooting down into earth. Today, the earth is a muddy earth, the earth of water and earth, this connection with matter. Bringing your fingers once again to the area just below the navel, resting the fingertips there, feeling the rise and fall as we breathe, bringing our attention into this place where we can attain balance between sensations and emotions that go towards tears, towards laughter, towards sadness, grief, towards joy and contentment. The goal here coming to a balance of emotion, knowing that things will change and flow, growing and expanding into this inner ocean of calm right at the center. Then letting the arms go along the sides, bring the feet up so they're just 3 inches or so below the buttocks. We're going to do a pelvic rock. So the tailbone lifts and the tailbone comes down. The small of the back comes down towards the mat and then rises a bit. Try to use the pelvic floor and the abdominal muscles to do this. Perhaps envisioning a rocking, swaying, lullaby motion for that inner ocean. Emotions that are always hard to deal with, that we adapt to as part of our life. Slowly coming back through center. Bring legs straight up, arms come out from the shoulders horizontally in each direction. Toes up towards the ceiling. Knees and ankles tight together as both legs move around a circle. It's as if you're drawing a circle on the ceiling with all of your toes, making the circle just as small or big as works for you. It may become a little bit bigger or not. Then reversing that direction, feeling your legs as if they are in water. Perhaps you're one of those water dancers who points toes up above the surface of the water, feeling that liquid movement. Coming back through center, bring the arms up so fingers are pointing up towards the ceiling and toes are up towards the ceiling. We're going to separate hands and feet so that each foot and hand are going in the opposite direction, making circles. Circles in the opposite directions, each side of the body going in the same direction. So hand and foot on one side goes in the same direction, but they're parting. And then coming back through center and going in the opposite direction. Softening into that feeling of moving through water. One more time round. Allow the legs to stay up and let the knees become soft and bent a bit. Arms again come out from the shoulders horizontally. We're going to push with feet down towards the bottom of the mat, just a little ways. Then knees will come back towards the chest in a water wheel. So our feet are going in a circle away from our body, down towards the bottom of the mat, then pulling back towards the body. Perhaps you are a water wheel boat going down the river. Perhaps you bring your attention to the water chakra itself within you, actually receiving a kind of massage from this water wheel. And then round the opposite direction. Two more times. Then bring the knees bent above the hips, hands come to the kneecaps. Separate the knees, turning the knees with your hands, opening up through the hip and pelvis area as knees go in opposite circles from each other, knee circles. Two more times round. relaxing through pelvic floor, relaxing under the navel, and then opposite direction, softening through jaw and tongue, behind the heart, down behind the waist and the hips. One more time round. Extend left leg out, right leg lifts up, arms are out from the shoulders horizontally. The extended leg up towards the ceiling, the right leg comes over to 3 o'clock, down to 6 o'clock, and opens out to 9 o'clock, up through center, across the body over to 3 o'clock, hip rises up as you go across, down to 6, over to 9. Always adapting and modifying for your body. That's part of the lesson of the water chakra, adapting. Finding the appropriate response in every situation. And coming back through center, slowly let that leg come down. Other leg lifts up. The left leg is up and comes across the body over to 9 o'clock, down to 6 o'clock, opening to 3. Opening through the hips and the pelvic area. You can always come back to the bum, 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 bum. And let's do one more time round for good measure. Left leg comes up through center and gradually comes down to the mat. Bring the knees back towards the chest. Give them a hug. Bring them towards the armpits, rolling back and forth, side to side, if that feels good for you, across the back of the water chakra area. Feeling the inner ocean sloshing back and forth. And then releasing the knees, use your elbows to help you up. And we're going to roll back and forth. So rolling along the spine, if this is advisable for you to do. Rolling back and forth. Relaxing into the roll. Feeling that inner ocean. And gradually coming up through center. Turning over, we'll come into a tabletop position. Hands are directly under shoulders. Keep the fingers wide and knees under hips. Raise the tailbone and let the heart slide forward. Gaze goes forward as you open the front of the spine and then arching the back as the tailbone goes down. Inhale, open the front of the spine. Exhale, open the back of the spine. Perhaps you imagine a whirling disc of energy right under the navel. It would be an orange disc of energy. It might have a moon in the middle of it, the tides that affect our life. But find what part of this practice works for you. Then coming back through center, we'll come forward on the mat into a prone position. Forearms are under shoulders, fingers are wide. Wiggle around the hips so that your pelvis is comfortable, anchored down through the hips, elbows rooting down so that the shoulders are firm. From the Mohawk prayer, gratitude to water, clouds, lake, rivers, glaciers holding, releasing, streaming through all our bodies, salty seas in our minds. So be it. Just a few more breaths here. Then letting the torso come down, arms come along the side, hands are in towards the body. Lengthen down through toes, lengthen tailbone down towards the heels. Lengthen up through the crown, the top of the head, so that the spine gets a little longer. Then let head and legs and shoulders float up, arms float up as well. Staying long and low here. And coming back down, lengthening once again. Coming up, and if you would like, bringing arms around towards the front, then pushing forward for a breaststroke. So if this works for you, swimming with a breaststroke, and legs can come down if that works better for you. Imagining yourself moving through the liquid quality of the lake, the swimming pool of life itself. And bring it down. We're going to come into what's called alligator. So hands come to the jaw. You just rest your chin down into your jaws and relax down through shoulders and spine. Imagining yourself this primordial animal lying in the mud, in the water and the earth, so close to the matter of our earth, the place that we all come from and go back to. Then bringing hands underneath the shoulders, we're going to come up into a downward dog. So tucking the toes, pressing into the mat, and bringing the weight of the hips back over the back legs. Keep the knees soft at first. You might paddle the legs and paddle the feet a bit, opening up through the back. Lots of length through the arms, the sides of the body, back through the pelvis and the hips. Then we'll come forward into plank. You might have knees down, you might have knees up. If you would like to kick to the side, just a suggestion, as if you were kicking water to the side and splashing with your feet. 3, 2, and 1. Elbows come in, knees come down, and come into cobra. We'll do that one more time, lifting up through downward dog, always adapting as you need to. Hips might come back a little farther this time. Backs of the legs might open a little bit more. Reaching back, long through the body, and then coming forward through plank. 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knees down, come into child's pose. So we're coming back, we're curling up on the earth, curling up perhaps in the warm water, imagining that we can breathe at the same time. Coming into the permission to feel our feelings. This is part of the water chakra, that our feelings are to be felt, knowing they will change. I myself feel some fear for some family members in the future. I feel some fear for our species, for the earth. What feelings are there? Then sliding forward, hands slide forward, open up the body, and go back and forth. Hands remain forward, heels come back to the hips, and open up, gradually opening up the inner ocean to a wider flowing perspective of life. And just for a moment, staying in that open position, finding just what is right for you, opening your inner ocean. Then bringing the hips back up. We're going to bring one foot forward. So I'm bringing my right foot forward. My hands are on either side. If you need to have blocks here, that's perfectly fine. If you have some of those, you can have those on either side. Tuck the toes. Heel reaches back. Knee is lifted up. So a nice long, low lunge here. Align the hips towards the front of the mat so the thighs are coming together a bit so that the hips can be horizontal. One more breath here. Then bring the front foot out towards the side of the mat and both hands come inside the front foot. So both hands are inside the front foot. You can always have one hand up on your knee if that it works for you better. But this opens up the pelvis and hip area a bit. And this is called the lizard. One again that is very appropriate to the animals that live with the mud, the water, and the earth. Then bring that knee down and switch sides. Left foot comes forward. Coming into low lunge. Breathing into that water chakra area below the navel. Then toe heel the front foot over towards the side of the mat and both hands come inside the front foot. Release the knee down in the back, bring the knees together. And we're going to do gate pose. So we're on our knees. You can always have a blanket under your knees if that will feel better. One leg goes out to the side. One arm reaches up and that other arm slides down the leg. Nice open side bend. Then the upper arm comes down onto the mat. Other arm reaches up and leg reaches out. Adapt as you need to. You might stand and do this. Your leg might come up only a little ways and arm not up so high. That's fine. Adapt to what is right for your body. And one last time. We ride the currents of sensations and foster our capacity for an inward stillness and calm, regardless of our circumstances. And we'll switch over to the other side, extending the leg. Hand slides down, other one comes across, opening up through the side of the hip and the ribs. Perhaps coming back to the affirmation. I flow with the rhythms of life. I flow with the rhythms of life. I flow with the rhythms of life. And one last time, radiating out from the heart, out into the world, and coming down. Strong through the stomach as you come back. And we will lift up into a mountain pose, coming to a standing position. Grounding down with the feet, feeling our roots into earth. Let's bring our fingers again just below the navel to the water chakra. The area on our feet, just below the balls of the feet in the center, is called the bubbling brook in Qigong. Bring that bubbling brook, feel it coming up under your feet, under your arches, up the insides of your legs to your pelvic floor, up through the water chakra, meeting the inner ocean, up through the roof of the mouth, meeting the saliva, and up through the crown of the head. Shoulder blades relax down towards the waist. One more breath here. Then let arms drop, feet come a little wider. We're going to pour our weight into one leg and then pour it into the other, back and forth, pouring our weight, pouring our inner ocean back and forth. Just feeling the lulling motion of this centered balance in your water chakra. Here we find the capacity to center. The body's lubricated with water between the cells, among the organs, washing through us with our blood and lymph, even gel in our bones. We are water. And coming back through center, bring your weight into one foot, other foot comes forward, pointing towards the opposite corner, a little diagonal. Weight comes back onto the back foot and then forward onto the front foot. As we come back, arms come around, skimming the top of the water, weight comes forward, pulling some of the water in. So you're like a wave here. Embodying the waves, the tides of our earth. Some meditation in motion. Bring that foot back in, change sides, and start your tidal flow on the other side. One more time. Coming back through center, let the feet be wide with the toes slightly turned out, knees bend as arms reach up and come down across the thighs and back behind. As arms reach up, straighten up through the legs, engaging in the knees, and then bending the knees as you come down. At the end of the Ice Age, show me the way to a place to sit, writes Gary Snyder, looking north up the dancing river where it turns into a glacier. Mind of mountains. Now bring hands onto thighs and we'll go side to side. Mind of tumbling water. Mind of sifting flowers in gravel. We are the bears, we are the ravens, we are the salmon in the gravel at the end of the Ice Age. And come back through center and bring yourself up. Feet are just a little wider than hip width apart. Let's bring one arm up towards ceiling and back behind. Imagining ourselves again going through water, a kind of backstroke here. The body has a little twist. This is mainly to open up the shoulders. One more time round. And then the other side, reaching up and back, adapting again for any issues that your shoulders have. One more time round. Then coming to another swimming stroke as one arm lifts up and goes across diagonally to the opposite corner and pulls back in, as if you are swimming in a slightly skewed way as we're reaching out diagonally. Feeling opening through the shoulder blades, the gliding motion of the shoulder blades, thanks to the water and liquid we have within us. One more time on each side. And we'll come back through center. We're going to do some balances now. If you want to have a chair beside you for a little support, that's fine. If you have a chair, bring your weight into the foundation leg beside the chair. Good focal point, dynamic leg, energy up that side of the body. Hands on hips if you don't have a chair. Inhale, knee up and down a few times. Soft knee in the foundation leg, little wobble, that's fine. Bring the knee up. Knee goes side to side as hands flow side to side in the opposite direction. So adapt this as you need to. I imagine being the kelp or the seaweed that is in the shallows of the ocean, swaying with the tides, adapting to the tides, being nourished by them, and gradually coming to a pause and coming down. Bring the weight into the other leg, firmly rooting down, dynamic feeling coming up, and good focal point. Raise the knee a few times. You come down out of the balance, no problem. Just come back into it. The capacity to move gracefully through life. And gradually we'll come down. Now we're going to come to triangle, and we're going to go from triangle into half moon. So half moon is this kind of a posture. You might have a block or a chair there to aid you. You can always bring your fingers down to the earth as well. So finding what you're going to do when you come to half moon, we'll start with triangle. So I'm back from the chair or whatever prop I'm using by a foot or a little bit more. My legs are not so wide apart in triangle, toes coming forward towards the front of the mat and the back leg, back foot at 30 degrees. And we're going to do this triangle little by little. So bringing our hands to our hip creases and letting the hips go backwards and forwards on the mat in relation to the mat. They're really going side to side. Letting the hips stay open towards the back and then opening through the chest, reaching to the horizon. Pause for a moment, then come back through center, hands on hips. Open the hips to the back, open up to the horizon. Once again, back to center, hips to the side, open through chest and reach out and come back through center. This time we'll continue on, hips to the side, out to the horizon and windmill. So we might have, you can always use the chair here if you would like, or one hand with the back of the hand against the knee or the top of the calf. Other arm reaching up. Then we're going to lift up towards the horizon again. Reach out to the horizon and windmill once again. So we're using the muscles on the sides of our bodies here, both on the upper and under parts. Lifting up, reaching out, feeling the movement hidden inside each pose. Pause here for a moment. Arms open to sky and earth. Water in the middle. Turn the front foot slightly towards the front, inwards, so that you can come down with your hands towards your foot, maybe to your ankle, maybe to the earth, and lift back up into triangle. Going back and forth, reaching down, soft knee, and opening up to the world. One more time. Then bring your hands up the leg. Hands come to the waist or hips. Bring the back foot forward a little bit. Weight comes into the front foot. Hand comes onto chair or block, feeling your distance there. Getting some support from the chair or block as the back leg lifts up. That arm might stay against the leg, and that might make it a little easier, some softness in your foundation leg, but lots of dynamic energy there. And perhaps the other arm will lift up, opening up in all directions. One last inhale, and soft knee come down. Good job. If you would like to use your chair, bring it to the other side, or just turn around, whichever works for you. We're coming once again into triangle, and we'll do it in this moving way, going between all of the parts of the pose. Hips moving from side to side, the back of the mat to the front of the mat. Ending up towards the back of the mat, then opening through the chest and reaching towards the horizon. Coming back to center, hips center, then hips come back and open to the horizon. Back through center. One last time, hips back to the back of the mat, opening to the horizon. Pause here for a moment, soft in the front knee. And then windmill into triangle, reaching up to the sky and down to the earth. Moving back to the horizon. Moving back to the vertical plane. Floating through the horizontal. Coming into the vertical. And we'll pause here for a moment. Then turning that front foot in towards the front just a little bit so that the hands can come down the leg, perhaps to ankle or down to the earth, maybe to shin, and then opening up once again. Coming down towards earth, imagining yourself perhaps like a waterfall. Open, cascading down, and then falling down into that deep pool beneath. And one more time. And come down. Run the hands up the leg, coming up to a standing position. Bring the back foot forward just a bit. Weight comes into the front foot. Hand comes to block or floor or chair. As you bring your weight into that hand and foot, back leg lifts up, maybe just a little bit, maybe to 90 degrees. Arm might rest there, or it might come up the rest of the way. Opening, feeling the balance of your inner ocean. For 3, 2, and 1. Bend the knee and come down. Ah, nice job. Let's bring our feet wide. Just do some easy motions here. Knees are soft. One arm lifts up. Nice luxurious side bend from side to side. This is the moon sequence, or is called that in yoga. Interesting, so interesting that the moon is part of our experience of the water in this world. Then coming back through center, arms come out to the sides. One hand comes to the opposite leg and open up to that side with the upper arm coming up. Inhale back up, strong through the belly, and bring the opposite hand to the opposite leg on the other side. Inhale back up, over to each side once again. Then coming up through center, hands come into the body. Then bring the hands to the sacrum. So fingers are down in the back on the sacrum. Feet are right under the hips. We're going to open up in the front of our bodies. Knees are soft, opening from the pelvis up through the breastbone, the sternum, long in the back of the neck, tucking the chin slightly as we come into a slight back bend. Then knees are soft, arms crisscross and fountain up. And we'll do this twice. Once again, fountaining up, bringing all your feelings into the world. One more time, a fountain, sharing those feelings, knowing that they are common to all of us. And come round through center. One more time, hands to the sacrum. Squeeze the shoulder blades together a bit. Pelvis stays fairly firm here as we open up through the front of the body, giving good support with the shoulder blades. Coming back up through vertical, and 2 more times, fountaining up. We'll do one last thing standing here. Feet come just a little bit wider than hip width apart. Hands come together, palms together. And we imagine that we have the tail of a dragon between our hands. And the dragon is pulling us through the water. Imagine shooting through the water on the tail of a dragon. This is my play with a Qigong exercise. I love the feeling of going with the dragon. And then coming back through center. Let's come down to a lying position. Relax down. Let the water rest. Trust in your inner ocean. We'll do a fish here before we end. Bring the feet up just below the buttocks. Bring the hands into this pattern. So the forefingers and the thumbs are making a diamond and fingers are spread. Lift the hips and bring your hands in that formation underneath the hips. Hands underneath the hips. Then legs extend out straight beneath. So legs are now straight out and hands are spread underneath the hips. Then I'm going to bring elbows in towards my body as I slide on the back of the crown up towards the back of the head. So sliding towards the back of the crown, lifting up through the tailbone, up through the pelvis, open through the pelvis, open through breastbone. Breathing for 3, 2, and 1. And sliding down the back of the skull, removing the hands. Arms come out from the shoulders. Right leg remains extended out. Left foot comes up by the right thigh. Bring the hips over to the left. Left leg comes up, left foot comes up onto right thigh. Gently pull that knee over. Let the foot and hips and legs arrange themselves, relaxing down through tongue and lips and jaw. I flow with the rhythms of life. I flow with the rhythms of life. Release and unwind. Center the hips, left leg extends out, right foot comes up by left thigh. Hips go over to the right a bit. Right foot goes up onto left thigh, and left hand gently draws the knee over, coming into a comfortable twist. Soft through the hip, the abdomen, the back of the waist, pelvic floor. I flow with the rhythms of life. Release that knee, come back through center. Find a comfortable position. Legs might be extended, knees might be tented together. Feeling softness in the back of the neck, down the spine, behind the heart, the stomach, behind the navel and the water chakra. Centered and calm. Complete in the wider perspective of the earth, the universe. Relax through upper legs, behind the knees, calves, ankles, the bottom of the feet, the spaces between the toes. Soft through fingers, feeling the spaces between fingers, palms, lower arms, elbows well hydrated and warm, upper arms, shoulders. Bringing that softness back through shoulders, up through the face, neck, cheeks, eyes, forehead, up to the crown, open to the world. Stay here if you would like. Relax more. If you're coming back into your day, bring some movement to fingers and toes. Perhaps roll wrists and ankles. Give your knees a hug. You might roll back and forth a little bit if you'd like to. Embodying whatever it is you would like to bring from this yoga practice back into your life. And then rolling over, we'll come to a brief sitting position if you're rising up. May we be healthy. May we enjoy the sunshine today that is coming in the window. May we feel deeply what happens to us in life. And may we be calm in our inner ocean. Namaste. Thanks for practicing. Hi, Mary. And hi, I Ping. Is that right? I Ping?
Yes.
Yes.
With IP.